And
They're getting your heavy
pop this back up. I know. I'm glad I checked. Hey, sorry about that. Okay, so we had some audio difficulties. I forgot to unmute the mic. So, hey, welcome to the Days of Green. I'm Andrew. This is my wife, Christine. And today we're not going to be playing Zera's usual campaign, but we're going to be going and run through our Pokemon adventure. So basically, we've been kind of working on. We've been working on this and trying to get a kind of fill of Pokemon in DC20. We've invested a little bit of time kind of trying to figure out how this might work. And like I said, the mechanics of it, we're trying to just not put it in our hands and make a bunch of rules, but we're trying to just, hey, DC20 has everything you need, just convert it in a little bit of a ways.
Yes.
So that's what we're gonna do. So today we're gonna be making a novice character,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna go into the catching process of this to see how it plays out stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um,
And yeah, all of the resources, there are two links in our description. So if you want to download your own character sheets,
yep,
we have those there, as well as a link to the PDF for the DC20 rulebook.
yep.
You can go on there. And how much is it? Like,
I think it was like 30 something.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, you have lifetime
yep,
access then to the rule book. So I mean, it's well worth it if you're interested at all in playing DC20.
yep,
And there's also a video that you did a few weeks ago on building characters as well. So that's
yep.
another one that you can go to. They'll give you step-by-step directions on how to actually fill out your character sheet. So
Yeah, pretty much. So he just put out one that I actually somewhat enjoy, his monthly magazine and stuff, and it has to do with like getting your kids to play and stuff, and it keeps it really simple. And I was actually running it today, but I was doing a Pokemon version of it and stuff for my kids. So basically, you just roll a D12, and it's either success or it's either a failure or it's a mix between those.
yeah,
And it was
even 5-year-olds like to play.
yeah,
So
it was
yeah.
pretty easy, pretty fun and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, you guys only get one ability. Yeah, 3 and 5 year olds. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But no, it should be a lot of fun. Like, yeah, our kids do enjoy playing, and
yeah, my daughter was
especially
like, I want to play
it's
Dungeons
fun.
and Dragons. I want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you go to bed. So,
Yeah.
and I feel bad.
She's yeah, she needed to go to bed.
Uh,
She's 3. She needed to go to bed.
yeah.
But yeah, she was having fun playing with dad while he was setting everything up. So,
Yep.
uh, yeah, any age can play. That's the beauty of it, you know.
Just how much patience the DM has.
True, true.
I was actually running a ChatGPT adventure for Andrew, our son who is 5 years old, and it was really I enjoyed myself. I was like, this is nice. Like he was just sitting in my lap, and then I was asking him questions, and I was reading him the story that it had, and then it would roll the dice for me. It would do everything
Oh,
for me,
nice.
and then what I mean. It would give you the options. Like I said, it would give you the options and stuff, and
Yeah.
you'd be able to let them pick and choose, or they can just do more
So
to it. So
choose your own adventure story in real
yeah,
life.
it just made it more easier for me. Truth be told, I'm scared of ChatGPT, and I know this is like I'm sure there's a lot of discussion on it and stuff, but like sometimes you just get that DM like fog, and you're just like I don't know, but I have to just give them something. Like they asked, so I
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
So you're like,
So now you're gonna be going, hang on just a second, let me
yeah,
see what you
yeah,
actually see. Oh yeah,
I
no, that's
know.
actually a great idea. You see,
You know what? It's funny as I watch a lot of DMs and stuff, and I kind of like I'm like, wow, they're so like story feel like read, and then I'm like, well, I'm reading ChatGPT, I'm like, wow, this is like I'm reading exactly how these guys were reading it.
have we discovered their deep dark secrets? Is that
Yeah,
they
I was
actually
like,
use
man,
AI to write
this
their
is like
stories?
really good. Yeah,
You never know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get into this and stuff
Yeah.
so we don't get too far. So yeah, we're gonna be building a novice character. My wife already built a novice character, but she's gonna be building it again. And we try not to spend too much time in the novice character when running this. I recommend just allowing the first sessions to run through the novice and then level them up and stuff. Okay,
Yes.
it's pretty much an opportunity for the trainers to get used to the Pokemon, and then you can give them that difficulty of having to kind of like deal with your Pokemon and stuff for the first time. Um, and then I'm trying to think of the other thing. Yeah, it's just experience wise, and I recommend too. We try to run it with 5 players. And I don't know. We're like I said, we're testing this out, system out, and stuff. And it feel like I might be better with the three. A three is a good number because you have to consider the trainer and the Pokemon and the turns. Like, I mean, truth be told, D&D and stuff at DC20, it's like turns can be a little bit of take a little
Yeah,
while. So that was my
I think
only.
once we get kind of comfortable with it and start flowing a little bit better with it, uh, the turns will smooth out. Yeah, but as a DC20 player, you now have two characters at your disposal that you're trying to like. Oh well, this guy's gonna move here,
Yep.
and this person's gonna do this, and then the Pokemon's gonna do this attack and everything. It's still the same number of turns with that four base rate. Uh, or the action points, we're still going to have the four different actions that you can do, but then figuring out how you want to distribute it, how you want to handle that. But I think, I mean, yeah, for first gameplay was a little rough, but it was brand
Yeah.
new thing, and half of our players didn't even have their characters built, so it was an
Yeah,
interesting
I
night.
know. It was an interesting week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, we're gonna get into it. So we have two types of sheets. Okay, so you have your trainer sheet, and then you also have your Pokemon sheet. So to kind of sum it up a little bit, they can see it.
That's
Dang,
true.
I have it on the thing, babe. I was about to do that too, and then I was like, oh no, I have it right there. Um,
Shows you how much I'm paying attention.
I know. So you have your trainer sheet, okay? And so there's a lot of things that your trainer can do, but when it comes to the attacks, that's where your Pokemon comes in, okay? So you do a lot of somewhat skill checks, somewhat skilled based things, and your Pokemon is going to be the one that's going to be doing all the attacking, and then the saves kind of is going to be a mix between the two. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and go through it. I don't know if I should subscribe it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we got. So in your trainer sheet, oops, forgive me if I can't. Let's see how well this works. Oh, I haven't. Okay, so in your trainer sheet, you have, like I said, you have all your skills listed here. The other thing you have is your HP. Your HP is going to be split up between your Pokemon. So however many Pokemon you have, you'll be able to take your 8 HP and split it up between your Pokemon. Same thing with your grit. You don't need to spend it right away, but you can spend it on whatever Pokemon you want at any time, as long as you have some. Same thing goes with mana. Same thing goes with stamina. You'll be able to spend those with whatever Pokemon you have. Okay. The other things is we've changed up feint, so it would be death's door, but in this one it's feint and having feint points and stuff. Okay, as well as your trade is basically what you were before you became a Pokemon trainer. The other big difference on this sheet is going to be the fact that you have all of these sections right here that list off the levels. So what this is for is basically for you to jot down the name of what skill or abilities you get at those levels, so you can keep track. Okay, we will put all of our notes on the back of the sheet for the trainer, to explain more of what those abilities are. So whenever you catch a Pokemon, your Pokemon will go through this process. They'll either be starting novice usually, and they'll get all your novice level abilities. Okay, that you have. Okay, and then it'll evolve, or not evolve. It'll level up to the next level and gain those abilities, and then the next level and gain those abilities. Okay, so you'll have them all jotted down here to reference. Okay, so basically you're going to be playing a character, and you're playing a class as well, and that Pokemon is going to gain all those class abilities.
Right.
Okay, so you're basically like you're training for a Pokemon that's a like
Fighting type.
a fighting type. Okay, and then what's your class that you're running for?
Well, eventually I am going for the monk class.
Yep.
At the novice level, we do not get our classes yet. So right now, I am just a person who is hoping to be a monk, but we'll see what happens.
Training to be a monk.
So I take the martial path.
Yep.
But yes, I don't actually get any of my class abilities until we hit level 0. Which, as an experienced player, is frustrating Because I know all the cool stuff I can do, but I can't do the cool stuff
It's
yet.
one of the things that the players hate is like when you like revert them back to level 0 or level 1. Like, what? I don't want to go back there. It's like,
So hard
I
to get to.
know.
Now you're starting us over
Things that
again.
players hate.
Ah,
um, okay. Yeah, so basically her Pokemon's all of her Pokemon are going to be flavored in that way to have those kinds of abilities. So it'll be very fighter monk-esque, okay? Probably mainly fighting a lot with their hands and feet and stuff. So that should be fun,
like
kind of.
melee martial type
Yeah,
attacks, yeah.
pretty much. So we'll go ahead and get started then. Let's make your character. So we're going to go ahead and start off by picking your attributes, okay? So your attributes are going to go on your player sheet and as well as your Pokemon sheet, okay? So I'll go ahead and switch over to the Pokemon sheet just uh, after we get through this one. Let's see. Make sure I have enough. Okay, so your attributes are here. So your starter Pokemon is going to share your same attributes. So your starter Pokemon is going to be very similar to you.
Right.
Okay. Um, so whatever you put. So what did you put for your attributes for your starter Pokemon?
So I had might as -2.
Okay.
I had agility at 1. My charisma was 0. And my intelligence is 2.
Okay. So starting out novice, you get the 2, 1, 0, -2. Okay. You put those in.
Yeah, up at the top there, you can see.
Yep.
The
Don't
top,
make me move my thing.
top left up there.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
the
you
top
see,
left,
like,
I have it there.
so that way, if you can't remember the numbers, they're right there for you.
Yep. And each Pokemon, once you get a new Pokemon, you can actually put any attribute into any area. Okay, so they don't have to have the same exact one as you. It's only the starter one that has the same exact as you. Okay. I feel like so many things I want to explain. Okay, cool. So we have our attributes picked. Let's go ahead and go over toward our Pokemon sheet. So I'll go ahead and go through that. So the Pokemon sheet is going to be more like a monster sheet. It has somewhat like of a base things. Okay, so you have your attacks, you have your attacks bonuses, your marshals, your saves, and then it also has your PD and your MD, as well as the health that you've given it. And then sometimes it might have temporary HPs and stuff, depending on what abilities you've given it. Okay, as well as the information for your Pokemon if it's a starter. And in this world, we are going to keep track of XP, just because when your Pokemon levels up, they go to the next level, they gain new abilities, and it kind of just goes like that. So you might have Pokemon that are in level 3, and then you might have Pokemon level novice and Pokemon level 1. I think it's going to be really fun to kind of be like, oh, I need to play my Pokemon level novice to get him leveled up, but he doesn't have much.
Right.
So I can't I can pick and choose my battles.
Put them out there to get that
I
one
know.
hit, and then put
Yeah,
them
we
right
get one
behind
hit
you.
and then just pull them back out. Which we're playing around with like minor actions and stuff, and I'm really liking the idea of being able to I think an object in DC20 is minor action, boom, boom, okay, and then you're obviously having to pay for another minor action amount. So I think it's one action for two minor actions.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So then if you have to draw them back, you have to use the Pokeball, pat back, throw another Pokeball out. So it's going to utilize your action. So it's like, thinking, okay, it's just a minor action, but now it's going to add up.
Right.
If you want to throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon, if you want to throw a treat, if you want to throw a rock, if you want to do different things. So we're looking to utilize the minor actions in this world. But yeah, so we have all of this, and then we have a resistance. So I'll go into resistance in a little bit. Resistance is a really tricky thing when it comes to this Pokemon world, but you also have where you're going to put your starter Pokemon has the same attributes as you, so you're able to put them in this little spot right here. Okay, so that's what you'll do, and then I think I might be getting rid of some of these things. The Prime will keep, but I think the awareness will get rid of. Possibly, we'll see how it plays out. And then also on this sheet, you'll have all your spells. And what this mainly is for you to write down your spell name, and then next to it, you're going to put down maybe the name that you want to call it when you tell it to your Pokemon. So say when you're playing the game, you can be like, Pikachu cast Lightning Bolt. Okay. Oh, but then your DM asks, well, what is that? And then they can say, oh, that is this spell. That is I don't know, what's the lightning one what's his name always used?
Uh, Like,
Shocking something.
yeah, shocking grasp or guiding bolt or
Guiding
whatever.
bolt. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but yeah, essentially, yeah.
yeah. So you'll have that information there, and then like I said, on your trainer sheet on the back, you'll have your listed spells and what they exactly do. Okay. Um, so yeah. Next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and pick up our ancestries. So this part is somewhat of the tricky part. I like the fact that I get to talk so much. My poor wife. Usually she's talking just as much as I am. Um, you get 5 ancestry points to spend.
Yes.
This is where we're playing around a lot still with, trying to figure out how that's going to work. But basically, what I've done is I've taken all of the ancestry traits for the most part and broke them into, throw them into Chat GPT to separate them as Pokemon types. And it somewhat did an all right job. There's probably still some work to be done in it to be able to get it more refined. But it was able to do it for the most part, and we were able to kind of pick and choose. So whatever majority of ancestors you pick, that's your type that you are gonna have to be. Okay, so yeah, I think you picked a lot of fighting Pokemon.
Yeah, well, most of my ancestry points went to my trainer, so that way they can then go to the Pokemon as well.
Yeah,
Um, but yes, the one ancestry point that I picked specifically for my Pokemon is a fighting type. So I chose the strong body, which essentially says that once per combat, if I'm going to be taking any damage against my physical defense, I can decrease that by either my might or my agility. So it's essentially a buffer, right? I lock up my muscles and say, no, you're not going to hurt me that much. It's an extra grip point, essentially.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I could see that really coming in handy in some of my combats where it's like, oh gosh, like I've got 2 HP left and he just hit me. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and reduce that down
Because
because
you can do it once per combat.
once per
I like
combat.
the. I was reading through the ancestries and stuff, and I mean, I'm not a player. I'm more of a GM, so I haven't really had a chance to look at it. But then, like reading through a lot of them, it's like once per combat. I'm like, oh, these are kind of like this is nice.
Yeah.
This is good. This is
Oh,
what we
they're
need.
going to be OP, but
Yeah.
hopefully it'll
Oh
be
yeah.
less. Yeah.
Combat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would definitely prefer once per combat as opposed to like once per long rest because we don't always get as many long rests as in DC20 as what we used to in D&D.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more specific rules for it. Hi,
Yeah,
Jackson.
and that's I mean I should go off a little bit, but that's what I kind of like about DC20 a little bit is I mean even maybe it's just because I didn't really read the rules that well in D&D,
It could be.
but I feel like it was a lot more clear and stuff in DC20 for rest and everything, and I'm able to kind of utilize it for my players and figure out exactly when. But to go back into it, so basically you have a mixture of ancestries. So like I said, I went through ChatGPT and stuff and took all the ancestries, and they were able to kind of throw them into a list of the types and everything. And so you can kind of, I'll try to have that list if you message me and stuff. I'll have that list to share it with people, as well as I broke up into a list for your trainer. So that was another thing I was trying to puzzle together. So basically, the trainer has certain basic abilities, like if you want to increase your health or certain attributes and stuff, but that's probably going to go to your starter Pokemon, like eating or your speed increase, or a couple things. So I'm curious. I'm kind of thinking about doing a every Pokemon gets 5 ancestry traits, and your trainer gets a certain amount as well. But I would love to add more things to that trainer list.
Instead of 5
Yeah,
split up between the two,
yeah,
I was definitely doing a lot of calculating or like,
yeah,
darn it, I only have 5 and half of these cost 2. So I can pick and
yeah.
choose just a couple that I want.
So yeah, that is what we would go through for the ancestries. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing. So it's gonna be your background. So basically, what job you were doing before you became a Pokemon trainer. This is the novice area of it and stuff. I think you get more into backgrounds um, later in the levels and stuff, and you gain more abilities for just. But for now, it's just for me. What I have for is for trades. So what trade did you have for yours?
So for my character, the two trades that I picked were herbalism
Mm-hmm.
and cooking. So I spent a lot of time working in gardens, growing different herbs and spices and medicines and things like that. So I learned not only how to grow and cultivate and utilize these things, but then also how to put all the stuff together in the kitchen as well. So that's going to be kind of my little specialty areas, like being able to forage and find foods and understand like how
Mm-hmm.
things work and like yeah, this plant has medicinal properties, this plant has toxic qualities, um, and yeah, it's like oh, if we're hungry, I also know how to cook and
Mm-hmm.
make all these things. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in the gardens and the kitchen.
Cool. This is also a good opportunity and stuff to kind of like pick your players and stuff, and figure out where they came from really too, because I believe you came from a monk
Yeah,
monastery and stuff
yeah,
like that, and then that's where you kind of got a lot of the training. So it's like okay,
yes,
build
I
out
thought that
those
was right.
personalities and characters in the path that she, because I think the next thing probably would be
The class.
the skills and then the path. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with skills. So your skills at novice level is 2 plus your intelligence. So this can be a little tricky in novice level, because I had a couple players who didn't have any any skills at all. I had one player that didn't have any skills. But what's your skill? Your intelligence is 2, so you get 4 skills that you get to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, most of the skills, the way the skills work, we're gonna go ahead and pull back up into that sheet. Uh, cool. So, like I said, the way that the skills are working, and we still, like I said, have some figuring out to do about them when it comes to the saves and everything, and then the trickery versus the skills within combat, I think is where this challenge is going to run into. But majority of the skill challenges can be done somewhat by your trainer. They can be maybe skilled in certain abilities, but you can also utilize those things. You utilize your Pokemon for those skill challenges as well. Um, like bring out your Charizard to try to influence these people and stuff. Okay.
Intimidation.
Yep. Like I said, we still haven't played it enough to where we can like, okay, how is this? Can we add bonuses from the Charizard? Can we do that? But we might just keep it just your player, whatever your player has skill wise is it's about it, and you can utilize your Pokemon to to storytell that. Um, but yeah, the other one was the save. So if you're trying to do a stealth, I think you would add the trainer's stealth ability. So it'd be your trainer's stealth goes to the Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
and then against, and then they have to contest that role. Okay, so the skills, basically you picked some skills. We won't go into them and stuff too much. We're going to go into your path. So you chose a path, and I'm assuming you chose the martial path, which
Yes.
we obviously know. Okay, cool. So you choose your path, and the next thing is your equipment. Now we're going through it a couple times and stuff, and I'm thinking about just removing equipment altogether, but leaving the properties because the properties can be beneficial in some ways. So what we have is an ending ancestries. When your Pokemon starts, this is gonna be a earful because this is a mechanic that I'm kind of okay. So when you start out, when your Pokemon starts out, when you catch it for the first time, when you have your starter Pokemon, they are going to start out with if you don't pick the natural weapon, isn't it right? Their natural. If you
Yeah.
don't pick that,
Ancestry.
then ancestry, then you will get just a basic one. So say, hey, I didn't pick that ancestry trait, so I am going to get bite, but when I go to attack, it's going to do 0 damage at novice level, and then when I do a heavy hit, it will do 1, and then a brutal hit, it will do obviously 2. Okay, so that's the challenges of not picking the ancestry trait for having those natural weapons. Okay, so if you pick the natural weapon, you get to actually get 2, and you get to add 1 damage, right?
Yeah.
So now you get to So basically, your normal hits would be 1 damage. So good option to pick the natural weapon because, like I said, you get um, the 2 weapons. So we have bite and maybe scratch, and then both of those can do damage and stuff. So piercing and slashing damage. Okay. So yeah, and then later on at level 0, you'll be able to take properties from weapons and add them to your those attacks. Okay, and so those attacks are going to go into your. Let me see if I still have it right here. Perfect. They're going to go ahead and go into where your attacks go. Okay, so you can obviously put down the bite, how much damage it does, if it does any damage, and then any property bonuses, and then any kind of what was it?
Like your range, if it's a
Yeah,
ranged
yeah,
attack, or yeah, if it's a special ability.
pretty much. So yeah, and a lot of these things are going to be very flavored to however it's going to work for you. So if you have, same thing goes with these cantrips, which let me see if I.
It's the beauty of the Pokemon is we do have that lore that we grew up with, right? And it's like, oh yeah, we know this Pokemon can do this, so we're gonna flavor it. You know, this attack to be like this. You know, it's like
Yeah.
okay, it's a bludgeoning attack, but we're using Tail Whip because we know that this character likes to use Tail Whip. You know, it's what makes it fun.
Yep.
Makes it fun to be able to use. So
Yeah. There's I think the fact that there's so many like Pokemon, there's so many things, there's so many abilities, so many things. It's like I can try to spend hours and days of my life trying to puzzle out every single Pokemon,
yeah,
what they can do,
no,
or we can just say, hey, let's try to bend them a little bit. Let's try to bend them, you know what I mean? So, and make it more reasonable, understandable. Cool. So we're going to go into the HP. So HP is going to be 5 plus your might plus your ancestry bonuses if you have any. Okay. So.
sorry, I got distracted by the chat.
If you.
Hang on. I'm hearing our kids.
If you want to go check, you can go check because I can keep going through it and then we should be done.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, for HP, it's going to be 5 plus your might plus your ancestry bonuses and stuff. So, preferably when you take the trainer and you get their ancestry abilities and you add that plus 1 HP, you are then able to like have more HP to spend for your other Pokemon. I don't think that that's going to be something where you can give a HP to your Pokemon unless it'll be temporary. Okay. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to kind of shoot it up in the messages and stuff, and we'll go through it as best we can. Next is going to go to defense. So your physical and your mystical defense is going to be at novice level is 8 plus your agility plus your armor bonus, which I believe at novice you do get an armor, which gives it a +1, and then any ancestry bonuses. Okay, same with mystical defense is charisma and intelligence and ancestry. So all stuff that DC20 you should be able to find it, and it explains pretty well. And then the next thing is your combat modifications, and so you get the +2 for attacks, plus of the 12 for the DC save. Your athletics and your acrobatics. Let's see, your crit points is 2 plus your charisma, I believe. Okay, thanks. And then it's so like I said, if you go through the DC20's book for novice and stuff and how to build a novice, it's all there. So the moves 5, jump agility, rest points is your, I think it's might +1. Okay. So other than that, I don't think I missed anything. That is how you basically build a Pokemon into the DC20 world. Okay. So like I said, you have your trainer sheet, and then you also have your Pokemon sheet. And then your prime actually is going to be going over toward catching Pokemon. So whenever you throw a Pokeball, you'll use your prime. So I think also you're using it for your attack as well, obviously, just like same as DC20. I think that's about it. And then also, I believe in novice you get to pick, you get the base attack maneuvers as well as you get 1 additional attack maneuver. And then you, for a spellcaster, you get 2 cantrips, I believe within reason. I don't know what it falls under. But, cool, and I think that is it for describing. Also, what I forgot to put on the trainer sheet is the PD Mandy, because they can take damage too. Yeah, we got through it. We got through it. Like I said, if you have any questions about it, just shoot me a message and stuff on YouTube, and I'll be able to answer it up. Like I said, we're still testing it and learning how it all works, so it should be fun. We're about to play it right now and see how catching goes. Um, there's another thing. I feel like there was one other thing I was going to mention before I close it all. Okay, cool. Let's go into it. Get rid of these. Oh yeah, that's right. So so foolish. Resistance. So there is a lot of types of resistance, okay, for Pokemon, and I'm not going to get too far into it, too deep into the ideas and everything. So my kids, my son, he's he is my son. So basically, we have many types of Pokemon. Let me see if I can get it a little better for everybody to see. Come on, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have just the base types here, okay? If they're not listed here, this is what we kind of put together. I've looked at a couple others types of how much damage does to certain types, but this is the easiest, is what I've found. So let's go and just drop you in there. If you are a water type, you do additional 1 damage to fire types. If you are a lightning type, if you are a water type and you get attacked by a lightning, obviously you get 1 damage. You do 1 less damage to lightning. So, okay, pretty simple. And if you're not on this list, if your type is not on this list, then you're not giving damage back and forth to either or. Okay, so I try to just keep it simple for now. And then you know your type if you have so many ancestry traits added to your Pokemon. Okay, so the majority, whatever majority of traits you have. So say if you have a bunch of flying type abilities as your ancestry traits for your Pokemon, then you're probably gonna be a flying Pokemon. Okay. And what also the option I've been giving with this ancestries is being able to mix up your Pokemon. So I have a player who's playing as a Pidgey, and she wanted to put the fire ability onto that Pokemon, so she's doing that. So now it's like a fire Pidgey, which is kind of cool. So you can mix those up and stuff. I'm trying to just, you know what? Let's try it out. If we're trying stuff, we might as well try everything. So that was the other thing I had to mention. Cool. And now we can go over to actually playing.
Hopefully.
Play.
Won't be interrupted again. He's having a hard time with the light. Like, it's the exact same light as what we have on every single night. But apparently tonight it was too bright. So, the joys of 5-year-olds. Anyway.
Yep.
So
okay.
Let's do it.
So your name is Lisa, correct?
Yes.
Lisa, I am using Encounters Plus. I love it because it's Apple friendly. It's an Apple product, pretty much. Apple app. And I have Apple stuff, and it makes it easy for me. Lisa, and your Pokemon is Machop, right?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Done. And just to give you guys a heads up, or say, if you guys haven't checked out our show or anything like that, go check it out and stuff, and like and subscribe us. You know, this is the first time I've actually said like and subscribe and stuff, ring the bell or whatever and stuff.
The buttons, it helps us out a lot, and we appreciate it. So yeah.
Okay.
And we usually have live shows every week. Sometimes twice a week, just kind of depending on how our group goes and everything. And
we are working on trying to get all of our group into a live show, but it can be a little bit of a challenge and stuff with the mics, with the cameras, with everything. It's so easier just doing one camera, one mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like everything is organized and clean. And
yes. Any suggestions or feedback for having a large group? We've got 6 people that we would need to.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the mic situation.
Yeah. So yeah, if you got any experience with that, we'd appreciate any feedback. Trying to make it sound good and look good and everything, and not be a whole huge 3-hour process every single time that we want to set up.
I know, God,
So,
miserable.
I know we tried to actually do a live show last week on Friday, and we ended up having to kind of scrap the whole thing because it was just that we were having so many technical difficulties, and so
Yep.
hopefully this week will go better.
That was the cat, wasn't it?
Cat's laying behind us.
I know.
Uh,
He is.
well,
He's probably into things. He's trying to figure things out, trying to do things. That's fine. I'm not too concerned. Okay. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and pitch you. So, we're going to go through running through the catching process of what we have. Okay. We'll see how this all plays out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Christine. Okay.
Yes,
when it comes.
so.
Yep. All right. You have entered into. I should probably ask ChatGPT to run the story.
Don't use it as a credit. Don't use it as a credit.
Well, let me just try it one time. I mean. Okay. Yeah. I won't. I won't this time. I won't. Okay, cool. You enter this cave. You and your Immerchop. Okay. So the circumstance that you've run into is that you're curious for Pokemon. You know where you need to go to find Pokemon. Okay. The caves are a perfect thing. You're not too far away from the caves, and it's close to the town, so it makes it easier for you if you did go and battle and fight in there. You could easily retreat back and find rest and find healing for your Pokemon. Okay. So you find yourself in this cave. You found a good entrance and opening. This is where a lot of the trainers come to kind of scout out and find their Pokemon, the types Pokemons that you're also looking for. Okay.
Okay.
And you have entered into these caves. It's kind of as you enter in, it's very vast and beautiful. And then you start to make your way, and you start to find an opening. And in this, you are now walking through a tunnel. Okay, you and your Machop. Your Machop is kind of dragging his feet. He is like, my dad always yelled at me for picking up my feet. He's like,
yes.
yeah.
Machop.
We've established that her character is lazy. It's pretty much Snorlax, but as a Machop.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I like actually getting to play. I don't know if this is beneficial for you, but getting to play your Pokemon's personalities.
It works for our one-on-one type characters.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
know how well it would work for the group, because then you're playing a whole bunch of NPC characters that we are actually in control of.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I think you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Machop is going along. Well, I've always liked playing like an NPC alongside you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my go-to. Cool. It's very vast. It's very big, like I said. But then you kind of closed up into this little pathway, and it's kind of a little bit tight. You can see there's a ridge to your left. Let me just go ahead and point. I shouldn't say left or right. So there's a ridge over here and stuff that you can see far down. It drops down pretty far. Okay, you got to be careful. There's signs here that say "Careful, Pokemon trainers. Watch your step." But yeah, you start to descend into this area. Okay. We're going to start you off with 3 Pokeballs as well. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go ahead and roll for some skills. Okay. So, as you continue on forward, let's see what we got. Try not to base myself off the map. You continue down your way down. Okay. Like I said, it's gigantic. You can see what appears to be some flashlights here and there. In the distance of other trainers kind of traveling through, you can hear smashing and noises and crashing noises and stuff. Okay. And then you make your way down here, and there you can see. Let's go and roll for awareness.
Okay. First roll of the night. What will it be? What will it be?
And then what I'm also doing is I'm always also keeping your Pokemon always next to you. Unless you tell your Pokemon to go and move, they will always stay next to you.
Okay. Do I add my...
Yes, you do.
Okay, so 16.
With the 16, you are able to notice... let's see. Is it 16? I'd like to look up. With that, as you look over, you can see what appears to be a something moving over here to the side. Okay, just behind this area. It is probably about. We're gonna count every space as 2. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 spaces away from you. You can see some kind of dark figured Pokemon kind of moving about and stuff. You can see it smashing things and pushing things over. You hear a loud crash as a stalagmite falls over, and then you hear it. Ooh. Okay. See if I can pull it up for my reference. It is up to you, whatever you want to do. Okay, so the opportunities that you have is stealth. Okay.
Yes, I think
So
that we are going to try to stealth a little bit closer to try to figure out what kind of Pokemon it is. It's gonna be an 8.
you said you're stealthing.
Trying to.
Hmm. Ooh, this is not gonna be fun. Okay, we got this. Yeah, this is not gonna be fun. Cool. You guys start stealthing your way up. I'm gonna say you're moving about 1, 2, 3. So it's every 2. So 2, 4, and with that, you can see all of a sudden this Pokemon. I'm gonna go ahead and put his token down. I'm gonna call him G Dude. G Dude. G. No. Okay, and with it, you see this gigantic ball of a creature and stuff. Okay, it kind of clambers up to the top of this area, and it looks down at you. Okay, and then you can see that it's starting to do something. You're not sure. You don't know if it noticed you or not. Okay, and with that, it is going to go ahead and roll to attack you. So, yeah.
Attacking me.
Yeah, it's attacking you. Machop is next to you. So the way that this combat is going to somewhat work is basically her trainer has true damage. So whatever damage I do with her, it goes straight to her health. And yeah, so you can utilize your Pokemon to block and everything. Okay? Cool. So let's go ahead and roll for initiative too. Awesome.
It's a nat 20.
It's a net 20 for your initiative?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a surprise attack too. Cool. This Graveler comes. This Pokemon comes sliding down this way and towards your path. Okay, as it comes, it stops up to you and it kind of brings its hands together and smashes at your direction. Okay, you quickly dodge out of the way and avoid the attack. Okay, so it was a 4 against your trainer's PD. Okay.
Okay.
So it missed you, okay? But it is right next to you. Okay, so you rolled for initiative and you rolled a nat 20. I'm gonna go ahead and roll. And I got a 18. Okay. So that means you get to go first, and I think you have a surprise attack as well. Right?
Well, I get like
or you
advantage.
get an advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Advantage, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Cool.
Alright, Machop, you ready to do this? So, Machop.
Yep.
I'm gonna say,
It is about the size of you. It's maybe a little bit taller than you and stuff, and it is very cumbersome. Okay. Shit.
Machop, get in there. Give it a power punch.
Okay.
Okay. So it's gonna be my first, second. It's gonna be an 18.
An 18. Cool. Yeah, that's gonna be a 1, 2, heavy hit.
Heavy hit? Okay.
Yes.
So it's gonna be 2 damage then because he powered up his attack.
2 damage.
Mhm.
Nice. Cool. Machop just kind of like begrudgingly kind of looks at you, and then he kind of just like, you can see his fist just kind of just amplify, and then he just kicks it back, and then and then hits this rock thing, and you can hear like a crack on the body of this Pokemon that has just stumbled in front of it. and it kind of just goes, and it turns toward Machop a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you see you have advantage on that first attack, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 16 was the...
Okay. Cool.
Or the 18.
Yeah, that was a pretty good hit that you did on it.
Yep. Okay. Now, I probably don't get like a dual wielding with the fist, do I?
A dual wielding with the fist.
Yeah. So I can't like punch and ignore a disadvantage, right?
Depends on if you have that ability.
Well, of course I don't have that ability
No,
yet.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead. He's gonna do it again, but I'll have to do it with disadvantage. Oh, sad. That's a natural one.
It's a natural one. Cool. And with that, he goes to try to punch again and stuff, and then the Graveler, the Pokemon, just catches his fist. Keep messing up and saying the Pokemon name. I'm trying to like stay away from saying like Pokemon, what Pokemon and stuff, and get it very obvious. Catches his fist and stuff, and you can see him starting to crunch, and then he kind of pushes him back a little bit. Okay, no damage at all.
No.
That was all your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What does Graveler through? With that, Graveler is going to, let me pull up my 4 dice. 2, 3, 4. Graveler is going to just start pounding at the ground. 1, 2, 3. Cool. And then everybody's going to have to make a save. So you have to make an agility save, whether that's in this area in which it is in. Okay.
So we both have to make an agility save?
Yes.
Okay, so it's roll it twice then.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically, it is Graveler is going to go ahead and attack you. It's going to pound at the ground and stuff, and shake the ground around you, and it's going to try to knock you prone. So it's causing an ability against you guys, as well as damage too. Okay, so.
Okay, so let's see. I don't have any of these, right?
You didn't get any saves, I don't believe. You don't get any saves as novice.
So it's just the base, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Machop is going to have a 14.
Okay.
And Lisa has a 5.
Got you. Okay, cool. Lisa, you are not prone.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to see if I can actually put you prone. Because they have a lot of things on here, but I don't know if they have prone on here. You are prone. Awesome. Cool. Machop is not prone. He quickly kind of moves his legs and catches himself from under him, but you quickly slip and fall back, okay? Yeah. And then let me just go ahead and roll for that attack too. Cool. Yeah, so you guys are not going to take any damage, but you are prone. Okay, so he has advantage on attacks against you. Yeah. Now, if you go down, your Pokemon comes straight back over towards you. And that's it. A trainer finds you later.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this.
You turn.
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and no, actually, I have one more action, I think, and I'm gonna spend that last action to. So use one action to attack, and then he uses another action to use the dodge action, giving you a disadvantage on your next attack.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to just go ahead. He's going to power punch again. So that's 2, and then he's going to do double advantage. So that's going to negate your disadvantage. Or it's going to give me advantage.
Great.
Okay.
I should let you know before we keep going. So basically, their health determines how difficult they are to catch. So the more health they have, the more challenging it is to catch them. Okay. I'll let you go ahead and roll. Let me go ahead and go through explaining it real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, I think we're either playing around with either by every 1 or by every 2 health. Okay, so this Pokemon has 4 health. That means it has a +4 to its DC of 10 to catch it. Okay. If it has negative, then it'll take away from that 10 DC. Okay. As well as when it tries to break out, it has that bonus. So if you try to catch it early when it still has a lot of health, it'll have those bonuses. Okay. So right now, I'll let you know that right now it's at 2 health. Okay, because it's novice level. I probably should put him a little higher, but so that means he has a +2 to everything, to his save for being caught, and then also for him to try to break out.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a non-nat 21 for my attack.
Okay. Not nat 21. That's going to be a brutal hit.
Okay. So that's going to be 3 damage to him.
3 damage. So it drops him down to -1.
Okay.
So yeah, he has -1 to his DC. So now he's at 9.
Okay.
You see, you have to beat a 9 to throw a Pokeball.
Right.
In
so I can use a minor action to throw a Pokeball?
Yes, you can.
Cool. Let's do it.
And like I said, you're using your Prime to go ahead and throw add to catch it.
Okay, that's going to be a 13.
A 13, the Pokeball goes and it flies and it hits him. Actually, I forgot a rule that I actually have. So basically, when you're throwing a Pokeball within range of him, I probably should give you a disadvantage because you're prone too. Usually, so what my plan was for catching Pokemon was basically, if you're right next to the Pokemon, it doesn't require a roll to beat the DC. Now, if you're 5 spaces away from the Pokemon, that's when you need to have a agility, a prime throw against the DC, because it's easy to throw it at a Pokemon that's right next to you.
Right.
Okay. So you don't have to roll for that, but you would get a disadvantage if you are prone, or you would have to actually do that roll if you're prone.
Okay, well, I mean,
because you're actually laying on the floor and you're having to try to throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon that's kind of like, yep. Yeah, pretty much. Cool. Pokeball goes over it. Okay, so now this is where we're probably going to be playing around with a lot of the rolls. This Pokemon is going to try to break out of it. It's going to use its bonus, which it has a -1, so it has no bonuses. Okay, so it's going to roll, and depending on how much strength it is, that's how many rolls it gets. Okay, so if this was a lower like Zubat Pokemon, it'll probably just do 1 roll and that's it. But because it's a stronger Pokemon, I'll roll 2 times and see if I can break out of her. What did you roll?
13.
13. I have to break out of that 13 number that she rolled. Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll it 2 times with the -1. So that's a 7 for the first one. You can see the Pokeball tick and move a little bit as it's kind of fighting its way a little bit. And the second one is going to be a 3. Boom. And with that, it clicks, and you've got a Graveler.
Yay!
You don't know what it is, actually, I should say.
Well, I would hope at this point I would know what it is.
So, in the Pokemon world and stuff, I'm trying to leave it vague, because I feel like, as Ash, he was going through, he was learning about the Pokemons. He didn't know what every Pokemon was, okay? And then I believe that having knowledge in certain types will allow you to know Pokemon or have a Pokédex that kind of extracts, But I think we're going to be doing the... yeah, you're not just because... Yeah. Just because you, the player, know what it is doesn't mean your trainer knows what it is, okay?
Well, okay, well, one could argue that if you've grown up in this world...
I know.
There's like animals.
Aren't these like TV shows that have like Pokemon everywhere nowadays? Well, the original one had Pokemon everywhere somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, he knew what they were, but
didn't know it.
Well, some of them he was like, "Oh, what is that?" But then some of them he was like,
every Pokemon he had like, yes, like what is that Pokemon? He knew like the base, like Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
Well, maybe he was just lame. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You go outside, like our kids know what the quail are, and the deer, and the javelina.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying is like having the knowledge of a certain kind of type or a certain kind of, so you can roll depending. So
yeah,
I'm cautious about it, but yeah. So that is basically how we catch Pokemon. There's a lot more to it. Like I said, the DC to catch Pokemon is 10, and then it's a +1 for each health. that they have. So if they have 10 health, and then boom, that's plus 10 right there. So you obviously got to take it down farther and farther. And just because they're knocked past death's door doesn't mean that they're down. Okay, they still have that actions to kind of move away or run away and stuff. So this Pokemon, I basically the brute force Pokemon, I usually just I'm running him so they attack you. But the other smaller type Pokemon, they'll probably run, and that's where I'm more curious to kind of run through. Is like Pokemon that are running and you're having to chase after it, so it makes it hard for you. This one was easy because he was right next to you. You can throw it and automatically catch
Yeah.
it once he's in faint mode. But Pokemon that are like smaller and that like try to run away, you have that space now that you're having to do range throws and everything
Mhm.
to try to hit it and stuff. So yeah, um, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be keep going with this and stuff. We're probably gonna go back to Zera, our story with Zera and stuff, going back into Lager Dive next week and stuff. But we really wanted to get this Pokemon content that we've been kind of working on out so that people can kind of check it out and kind of ask questions about it. So yeah, if you're curious in kind of building a Pokemon character, you can message me here on YouTube. I'm also in the Discord for DC20. So yeah, I have the sheets, we have the ancestries, and I should be a pretty fun play and stuff. It's just the process of kind of trying to figure it out at first. So
Yep, bear with us. We're figuring it out, but it should be a lot of fun because, I mean, Pokemon,
yep,
right?
yeah,
Who doesn't
yeah.
like Pokemon?
Yeah, I like it. I actually like this somewhat compared to our what's called, because I usually give you a NPC to run along with, but this makes it easier. Boom, you have Machop all the time, every time.
Yep.
Plus, you have other Pokemon too now. You have a
Just
Graveler.
caught a Graveler. Haha! Do I get to make his character
Yeah.
sheet?
If you guys like this and stuff, then just message in the YouTube and let us know, and then we'll keep going with it. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, we do our thing and stuff with Zera and stuff, but this may be fun as well. So
I'll start playing 3 times a week.
I know. Yeah.
I'll do Zero on Mondays and Pokemon on Wednesdays and group play on Fridays and
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty much. So
it's gonna be nothing but live
yeah.
gameplay.
And we're super excited for Coach to be releasing the 0.9
Yeah.
subclasses. I think that's what brought us into doing Pokemon stuff. Is like, oh man, we can't play a normal game right anymore. We're already there. Like, the
Yeah.
players want to level up, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah, gotta wait for the 0.9, which should be coming out within the
it will be
next
coming out probably
couple
tomorrow,
weeks.
possibly. I think it is live.
Well, I know he was on vacation last week.
Uh,
Because they were saying they were aiming for the end of February, so we'll see. Hopefully, he'll get it out sooner. I know there was a lot of green last time we had a meeting, so we'll see what happens.
yep. And then shout out to all the other DC20 content creators and stuff. Really been enjoying your guys' stuff, and it's like really excited to kind of be working and building more and more of content and stuff. So yeah, um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
keep doing what you do, guys.
yep. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the ring bell and stuff. Do all that kind of stuff so that we can kind of slowly grow with you guys. Like we said, we have fun with this. So
Yeah.
other than that, we will see you next time on the Days of Green.
Good night.